everyone, we're Sahand and Akane, climbing together in the United States. We have spent the last 3 winters actively bouldering around Chattanooga, Tennessee, focusing on our performance. Although we don't get to boulder outside as much as we want to because of long drive, we've learned to effectively select boulders to work on and send them. In this video, we're sharing some of the tips to maximize your outdoor bouldering performance based on our experience. First tip, if you fell on the boulder problem below your limit, don't let it affect your mood for the rest of your trip. This is especially applicable if you're relatively new to outdoor bouldering. If you're a V8 climber, for example, there is still a good chance that you can't send a V5 or even V4. It is frustrating, but you shouldn't let that affect you and ruin your precious time climbing outside. Failing on boulders below your limit can be due to a variety of reasons. It can be a tricky top out. For example, there is an infamous V4 at Stonefort, Chattanooga named Black Carpet. It's a V4 and the first half is straightforward. However, the top out is all slopers and it requires some time to figure out. I have sent a few V8 outdoor, but I haven't actually sent this V4 yet. Another reason could be beta intensive bouldering. The iconic classic V5 at Rocktown in Georgia, Golden Shower, is a good example. This beautiful problem with a bunch of side pulls requires a particular sequence, especially if you're short. For every move I had to spend maybe 4 to 8 tries to figure out the beta, and every move had to be precise for me to send it. Because we spent some time working on the beta, we couldn't send it within a day. We were a little disappointed because we thought it would be a quick send. However, instead of dragging that -5 around, we switched to some other boulders and sent V6 and V7 that were more of our style. That was refreshing and we got our confidence back. When we went back to Golden Shower the next day in the evening, we were both able to send it in 1 or 2 attempts at the end of the day. So it is normal that you don't send every single problem within your limit. If you fail, go do something more fun or your style, get your confidence back, and come back to it. I'm sure you'll send it. If you mostly climb at the gym for 2 to 3 hours per session, do not have high expectation of sending many routes up to your limit throughout the day. So the second tip is to be aware of how much time you spend climbing outdoors compared to indoors. If you plan to spend the entire day climbing because of your long trip, and if you don't climb outdoors regularly, your body is likely not ready for an almost all day of high intensity climbing. Pushing to your maximum can actually increase the chance of injury. So if you plan to spend the whole day working on your project or trying many different problems, you need a realistic plan. For this, you need to be mindful and take a long rest between your attempts. We usually take at least 7 or 8 minutes between good attempts once we dial our beta. Do not jump back on the problem back to back, but instead try to send it within a minimum number of attempts with good rests. In this way, you save your skin and energy for the rest of your trip. In fact, learning to increase and build your climbing volume and intensity before a trip or performance season can also help you send more routes near or at your limit when climbing outside. The third tip is about the biggest topic in outdoor climbing, the skin. Sahand has sweaty hands and I have dry hands, and we struggle differently. Sahand has seen a huge difference in his performance depending on his skin condition. If you have sweaty hands like him, you will struggle gripping and also lose skin very quickly. A big mistake he would make when we were still new to outdoor climbing was that with his sweaty hands, without using any skin products, he would repeat sharp or slopey moves, sometimes under the sun, and after an hour his skin was already gone. Now he strategizes his day by taping his fingers when he's working on the beta and only removes it for send attempts. He also uses Rhino products, which was a life changer for him. He specifically uses performance and dry Rhino to minimize sweating. I, on the other hand, don't struggle as much as Sahand, but having dry skin is more prone to developing calluses and flappers. I haven't tried any skin products for my skin yet, but I moisturize my skin quite often throughout the day and make sure to file my skin to avoid flappers. Depending on your skin type, it's good to have your own skin strategy for outdoor experience. When trying to send a problem at your limit, obviously condition matters a lot. I haven't really appreciated before, but when I sent Grimace V8 at night, I felt it was much easier because of the friction. This problem consists of a series of sloper crimps and slopey top out. Although it was during winter, I kept slipping during the day, and when I finally sent it at night, my hands were perfectly sticking to the rug and crimping was also easier. Temperature and humidity obviously affect some problems greatly. Watching when the temperature drops, humidity drops, and also when the routes get the sun and when it doesn't can affect your performance. When you're spending the entire day bouldering outside, what do you eat and how often do you eat? Do you take a lunch break in the middle of the day to have a big sandwich? Or you're too focused on your climbing that you don't really eat anything throughout the day? That might affect your performance too. Obviously, this kind of topic can go very scientific, but in general, we try to avoid one big meal and instead consume low GI snacks throughout the day. The glycemic index, or GI, indicates how a particular food affects blood sugar levels. High GI foods such as rice, bagels, potatoes, and donuts rapidly increase blood sugar and can make you sleepy and you won't be able to climb effectively after that. So you want to consume low-medium GI foods like banana, nuts, apples, and some protein bars to maintain your energy without big spikes in blood sugars throughout the day. In fact, some protein bars indicate that they are low GI foods. It's good to take these bars to the crag. If you just finish a training block, you'll likely fatigue and see a drop in your performance. So you want to have a proper tapering before your performance phase. If you're a sport climber and having sport climbing and bouldering seasons back to back, you want to plan this carefully too, because your overall strength can be 20 to 30% lower after a sport climbing season. Because of this, we usually take 2 to 3 weeks after a sport climbing season to get back our strength and power. The next tip is related to footwork. Outside bouldering is not colored like indoor, which is challenging because you don't know which features to use. But the good thing is you can use any features and make everything footholds. But those are most likely going to be tiny features, blank surface, or slopers, and you need to learn to trust your feet. This is something you experience and learn over time. For example, when Sahan sent Chronix V7, the top out was just slowly climbing up the slope. No distinct edges or flat surface. He just trusted his feet and the friction. Another example was the start of Grimace V8. There are no clear edges or holes at the bottom, and I was just pressing on some tiny something down there. My foot would sometimes slip, but most of the time it worked, and it's just a matter of trusting. This is something you learn and gain over time. In this video, we covered 7 tips to maximize your outdoor bouldering performance. I hope they were helpful, and I hope you have a great bouldering trip if you're planning on one soon. Before we conclude, we wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about climbing indoor Expo that we participated back in December in Chattanooga. Indoor Climbing Expo, or ICE, is a great place to learn about all the cool things people are doing in climbing industry, and it is mainly oriented toward route setting and hold manufacturing. But there are many clinics and roundtables where you can learn from professionals about opening a gym to crag, and hold shaping. The exhibition was full of colorful and modern holds and creative apparels. Our favorite part was the moonboard competition. We saw pros, including Daniel Woods, Ravioli Biceps, and Alison West, competing right in front of our eyes. It was so fun. If you're in the US, definitely plan to be in Chattanooga next year for this awesome event. Visit their website in the description to get tickets. The earlier you buy, the better deal you get. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to support us.